Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on the business training call today. Welcome to the office. This is what we do every Monday at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time. So wherever you are, we just appreciate you joining us. And we are going to talk about how to set up your office like we always do. I'm going to make it really brief this time because we have Mary Hollingshead on the call with us. She went to the boot camp this last weekend. And so she is going to be sharing all the amazing things that she learned so that we can all learn all the things that she brought back from boot camp that will benefit our business. So, with that, the way that you want to set up your business is that we are professional network marketers, which makes us professional list makers. And so that is the biggest thing, just learning how to make a list, making that list, going through that list, and helping other people make their lists. There's basically 4 different things that you want to have. You want to have a notebook so you can take notes, which hopefully we all arrived here today with our notebook to take notes for what Mary's going to share with us. You want to have a list book. So, or you can use some type of Google spreadsheet, or a spreadsheet, whatever you want to use. If you have a CRM, you can use that. However, you're going to be keeping track of people that you need to get in contact with. You need a calendar. So I use my iPhone, but you can just have a calendar book if that's what works easiest for you. You want to follow up clipboard with the scripts that you need as you're following up with people. Everything that you need to print off is on patchtheway.com. So what you need for that follow-up clipboard is on patchtheway.com. You need a 3-ring binder. Everything that you're going to put in that 3-ring binder as you go out and meet people and share with them. Flyers that you want to give them, those are also on patchtheway.com. The what to expect with the technology, obviously the order form. You always want to have an order form with your follow-up clipboard or your 3-ring binder. And then, of course, your business cards and your patches. You want to be able to carry those patches around with you and patch people as you go. I carry X39 Eon and Ice Wave with me everywhere I go. And I do actually carry the glutathione and carnosine for just, sometimes once in a while if I need to patch somebody with those for a specific reason. So the biggest thing is making your list of 10, starting with that list of 10, having that script, what you're going to say or what you're going to text. I always recommend you talk and text and text and talk. So every time you send a text, you also want to follow up with a call, just so people know that it's not spam. So you are genuinely wanting to reach out to them. So what do you know about stem cells? Have you heard about the latest stem cell technology? Things like that. So I'm not going to go through the list because I want to leave Mary time, but just thinking about who you know, who you respect, who you love, who has health issues, just thinking through a list of what would jar your memory. But really, we all have cell phones. Just get out your cell phone. Pretty much everybody you know is in your cell phone and start making that list from there. Let's see. So let me go with setting goals. What I normally go through is our biggest thing is 3-3-3. Patch 3 people a day or contact 3 people a day, invite 3 people a day, inviting them to our podcast. So obviously tonight we won't have our Monday night because we are all going to be getting trained for free through LifeWave for 10 days on social media, which I'm super excited about because I am not good at social media. I really don't even like to participate. But we need to participate because it's important for our businesses. So it's going to be great learning. And then I guess that's going to be going on still next Monday. So I'm guessing we won't do our X39 review, but you want to use those calls. So the Monday X39 review, leverage your time by inviting people to those calls. Our Wednesday night calls where we go through all of the products as well as the business. Those are really great ones to invite new people that you've just talked to about the technology, as well as the Thursday night call, just hearing about somebody's story. And at the end of that, I still do a little short bit about what the technology does. So contacting 3 people a day, inviting 3 people to those calls, and then following up with 3. My follow-up list is always longer than 3. So if you're already doing this, contacting and inviting, you're going to have plenty more than 3 to follow up with, on just trying to get back with them, see, if they're ready to get started, inviting them to another call. So again, I'm just going to do that real short so that Mary can have most of the time. And just basically remind you about all of the things that we have to access to so that you can keep in contact with us. So all of our social media things. So on Telegram, I have my Telegram, Nikki's LifeWave, that you can join, where I have got just thousands of videos that are listed usually by types of conditions or an organ in your body or the patches or a doctor or whatever. It's hopefully you find it that it's organized well for you to find things that you want. Patch the Way also has a Telegram page. We of course have our WhatsApps with Native Son if you're in Dr. Caroline's group, or Patch the Way, which all of us are in. Our Facebook groups, Patch the Way has a Facebook page. LifeWave Corporate also has a Facebook page. You want to subscribe to the YouTube channel. So of course, LifeWave Corporate's Patch the Way's YouTube channel, and mine is just Nikki McCutchen. So you want to subscribe to all of those. All of our inviting scripts that you need when you're working with people, those are all actually on my Telegram page as well. So you can find those under brand partner. They're all there. You can find some scripts that you like. So that's super, super helpful. And I think that's all. I just wanted to make it super quick just to kind of let you know how quick things about setting up your office. You can always go back to my YouTube channel. I have the business training call on that YouTube channel. Even a couple of them where I go into more detail about the 333, about setting goals. But with that, I want to have Mary come on and just share with us her amazing time this weekend, because we all want to learn all of the things they trained on boot camp. So Mary, please come on and share with us.
Thank you for having me. So basically, it was not only myself, it was Debbie Jones and Elsie and Myrna, and it was supposed to be Linda Marion, but she got sick the last minute. But it was the 4 of us, and then we ran into Neff. So Neff did catch up with me. So we were so it was 5 of us from Patch the Way. So the interesting thing was I was more interested in what was going to happen Thursday night, because they said they were going to do a business presentation. So very interesting. The way that they started it off was they did testimonials. They had 4 of them get up and they each gave their personal testimonial. And one of them was one of the young girls, and she's the daughter of an SPD, who that story was amazing, because the girl would never touch the patches. I'm not putting that on my body, Mom. And she was a very sick girl, and she was only 20 some years old. And finally, the last thing she did after her mother was doing this for a while, she finally put the patches on, and then started actually getting better. And then she wound up joining the business. That weekend, she became an SPD.
Oh my
So
gosh.
that young girl.
Wow.
So they had her up on stage. So basically that's what they did. They just did testimonials. Then I think that Dr. What is it? Always forget her name.
Dr. Stacy.
Yes, Dr. Stacy did products. She went over the products, and then they pretty much just briefly went over the business plan and asked, how many guests were there. There was probably about 20 guests and about 500 of us there. So it was pretty exciting to be in the room. And then on Friday, Friday morning was the beginning of the boot camp. So when we got there, they gave us all the packet of the, I don't know if you guys could see it.
Yeah, the Cellergize, the sample
Yes.
packets.
Yep, they gave us that. And then they gave us a boot camp book. It actually says boot camp on it. And then they gave us a pen, of course. So that was, and then they gave us a little, we all had name tags, but they also gave us a little ticket. So, the ticket was because they were giving prizes the whole weekend. I mean, that whole weekend, it was hats and sleeves and cellulite and trying to think some of the coolest things that they gave, but they were constantly calling the raffles, for you to win stuff. So that was pretty cool. But boot camp started with they spelt out the word leadership, and they did the acronyms for leadership. So lay the foundation, embark on the business and make your list, act on your why, develop your story, establish consistent income producing I don't know what the word is. I wrote it. It was really they were
Probably
spoke.
activities.
You're right. Thank you. It is activities. Now that you said that, I'm like, I can read my handwriting. I coughed so much that weekend. It was hard for me to my handwriting was terrible. Retention, keeping your team engaged, setting and achieving goals, honor your team's success, inspire leadership in your team, and produce massive action. So then when somebody got up and spoke about lay the foundation, and that was pretty much about making your list. So they asked all of us to make a list of 10 people or more, and anybody that did more than 10 people, which they didn't do later, they gave them a prize. So they were trying to get people to interact. And then they would tell you have to run up on stage, and I was in the back. So there was no way I was getting up on stage. Like they would say the first 3 people that come up. So it was really very interactive, the whole time. Know your current why and know your future why. And then they would tell us to text someone that you haven't reached out for a while. And they were sharing that where a lot of people have people in their phones. They might not know who they are. They haven't talked to them in a long time. And one of the leaders was up there sharing, you wouldn't believe how many doors you can open by just reaching out to someone saying, I have your number and I know I met you, but I can't remember how we met. Um, text me back if this is so and so and remind me how we originally met. And so they were asking all of us to do that weekend, like go ahead and do something like that. So develop your own story. They wanted us to have a micro story, and this is like who you are. They wanted you to have a story that you spoke from your heart, and how you
Hey,
like to help people,
Mary,
stuff like that.
can I ask a question
No,
about
yeah.
when they were asking you about how to when you were texting people, because I have lots of people in my phone that I'm like, I don't know who these people are. So when they were telling you to, reach out to them, ask them to remind you how we met, then how did they go about then, introducing what you do, so it doesn't feel like the only reason you're contacting them is because you want to tell them about your business.
Right.
How did they recommend doing that?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked me that, because the one thing that they did tell us to do is when we meet somebody for the very first time, put LP um, before their name, LP, and then their name, so that you have all your LP, meaning your prospects. And then once you know who they are, then you would take out the LP. But it's a good way of keeping track of all your prospects that you're meeting, like are cold, you know what I mean? Like just meeting people. So that
Mhm.
was one of the comments that they made. But the girl that was up there talking about that, what you're talking about, Nikki, she pretty much just said that she, you know, asked them how did they meet, or if they don't remember, or she hasn't talked to them for a while. She just builds up a rapport, and she said that within time, they're going to ask you, what are you doing? Or you ask them what they're doing, and then it'll come out. So that
Mhm.
was what they told us, not to go to, like, hey, I want, looking at this business or what. They didn't tell you to do that. They told you to just build a rapport back with them and
Mhm.
see if they're what they're doing and if they're open to you, and then maybe setting up a time to meet with them. So that was pretty much how they conducted it.
So the biggest thing would be asking them what they're doing now.
Yes.
And then
And
if
letting
when
them
they
talk.
ask you back, when they
Right.
ask you back, then you're able to share. Okay.
Right.
That was the biggest
And then
thing.
it was
Okay.
more about getting together with them and catching
Okay.
up with them, if they're
Okay.
local,
Yeah.
or, doing it like that. Yeah, that was pretty much, you know, what they were explaining.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. And Pastor Ed's asking, what does LP stand for?
Lifeway Prospect. Good
Okay.
question.
Okay.
The LP
Yes.
stood for Lifeway Prospect.
Very good.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you.
So the other thing that they did was the 90-second elevator pitch. So we spent a lot of time on that, expanding your micro story. So they went into explaining pretty much that. Um, so let's see.
So did you come up with a 90-second pitch for yourself then?
Yes, I kind of did. And then we had, I think that's when we were working on, and we've all seen this, your core needs categories, the developing your why. We did this also. And I wanted to get an extra copy, to bring back for everybody. Um, but again, for me, it was tough because I was coughing the whole time.
Mm,
So,
yeah.
so I didn't get to finish things because of that. I
Hmm.
didn't feel better until the last day. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, let's see. I highlighted some things to talk about because um they they did show a video that was pretty funny. Um they were talking about, don't take risk in talking to people on social media and publicly, that'll get Lifeway in trouble. Garrett was saying that you know do not do it because it can really affect Lifeway. And so they showed a film. It was so funny. We never laughed so hard. So the whole weekend, everybody just said that phrase. So it was, if anybody watched Bob Newhart, it was him doing, it was very old. And a lady was coming in and it was going to, he said, she said, do I have to lay down on this couch? And he goes, you don't have to, you could just sit in my chair, but we're only going to be 5 minutes. And she said, you're going to help me with all my problems in 5 minutes? And she said, yeah. So then he starts asking her, what do you want to talk about first? And she starts telling this really stupid story of what she does. And he looks at her and she goes, just stop it. And he kept yelling at her, stop it. So everything he said was, stop it. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. So all weekend, that's what everybody would just say out loud. What did you learn? Just stop it. So a lot of people. Um, and a lot of times during um time, they were doing more about asking people, what did you learn so far? And people were standing up and telling what they learned, and they were giving them prizes. You know what I mean? Like there was a lot, like I said, they were giving a lot of prizes out. And there was a lot of people there that they weren't in the business long. Most people were in the business a while that were there. And there was about 140 SPDs there. So they did do recognition. They recognized all the managers. I mean, I bet they probably, you wouldn't believe how many managers went across the stage. It was just amazing how many people were there. Like I said, by the end of the weekend, it was about 600 people there. They said when they first got started, they were only about 100, and they keep doubling. And I will tell you, after this weekend, they will be bigger. And I did ask him, we're going to get one on the East Coast, but it's probably not going to be until 2026. And the next one's going to be in Texas. So we need to look and see when it is, because David, we should get a group to come out to Texas and go to that leader. I tell him, don't miss the leadership.
Yeah, it's going to be in Dallas.
Yeah, is it going to
Do
be
you
in
have the
Dallas?
dates, David?
No, I didn't get the dates yet. I talked to Geraldo about it, and he said that right now they're concentrating on Florida, Texas, and California. So
Okay,
those are the three areas that they're going to be doing these boot camps.
right.
And
And
he told me the next one is Dallas.
right, that's what he told me. He said, and it's coming up this year. They're only going to do 3 or 4 a year. And it's because they spend a lot of money and they put a lot into it. And it was so cheap for $125. What we got was unreal. And I'll tell you, that lunch was the best. I mean, it was salmon, and it was salads, and it was vegetables. It was so healthy that you didn't leave um like tired. You know what I mean? Because you ate heavy starches and stuff like that and carbs. It was just so healthy. It was just a wonderful lunch, and you got to sit with other people and meet people. So it was really an amazing weekend. Um they did have a section on products, and they talked that was Dr. Stacy that spoke, and she shared things that she normally wouldn't share because we could not record, because she was going to share stuff that cannot get really out, like more stuff, more than she usually does. But one thing that she said, and I know I can say it without it being in trouble, is you should look at X39. Have you heard her say this before? That the X39 is like the mother, and that the X49 is like the daughter. And that's why you wear them together. I highlighted that to share that with you guys, because I've never heard her explain it like that. That the X39 is the mother and the X49 is the daughter. So she went through, like I said, all the patches, and even more about the cellularized, we went into detail. So oh, I did have that written down. Remember, Nikki, I was telling you I thought I didn't have something written down. You guys wouldn't believe this. They gave us a challenge. So this was Saturday. They gave us a challenge. And the challenge was that we had to meet 5 new people. They could not be LifeWave. And we had to walk up to them and say with excitement, I'm in the middle of a contest. I need to find 5 people by tomorrow morning, and get a picture with you. Would you mind taking a picture with me? And the people are like, what? And they're like, all I need you to do, and that you would either give them your card or a patch or a sleeve or something that represented LifeWave, and you ask them, hold on to it, and then they have to be in the picture with you and do a selfie. And if we got 5 people within that, from Saturday to Sunday morning, had to be in by Sunday morning, they're going to mail us a sleeve of Eon.
That's amazing.
That was the most fun. And they said, you should be doing this every day. We as a team should pick a day and say to our team, you guys got a couple, from today, tomorrow, or the weekend, or whatever we want to come up with. But you have to talk to 5 people, get their picture, talk about the business, and get their information. You wouldn't believe. I went into the bathroom, and the girl that was, cleaning the bathrooms was standing there, and I started to talk to her, and I said, I'm in the middle of a contest. Would you help me? I got to get my first person. I've got to get 5 people. And she's, I'm working. I can't do it. And she couldn't speak English really well. So, and she wasn't listening to me. one of the SPDs comes up to me and says, maybe she doesn't speak English. So she starts talking to her in Spanish. And the girl's looking at her like she has 10 heads. And she says, oh, you don't speak Spanish? And no, she speaks French. And she didn't know it. So we're both laughing in the bathroom, talking to this girl. And she said, no, no picture, no picture. So I said, well, I need you though. I really need you. And I want to share with you why, because this content is really important. So I hand her my business card. She looks at it and she says, looks at the business card and she said, pain? And I said, yeah, I could help you get out of pain. I need this. Meet me tomorrow, which is Sunday afternoon after the contest, right? She says, meet me and I'm going to do my hair and fix. She didn't want her picture taken because she was all wrapped up into something, you know? So I went back and I said to Geraldo, if I need an extra person, will you give me until Sunday afternoon? No, Mary, it's Sunday morning or it doesn't count. Go find 5 new people. You know what Jared did on Sunday? Told the whole place, yeah, somebody went after somebody in the bathroom. And he's like, and they didn't tell the story the right way. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, you know what I mean? It was funny though. But anyway, that night we all ran around trying to find people, to get our pictures taken with. And Neff, he says, I didn't do it. And I'm like, no, Neff, you're not getting out of it. So I said, right now, go out there and find 5 people, go to the front of the hotel where there's more people and go get your 5 people because you have to do it. It's part of the weekend. So he did. He came back and high-fived me and said, I did it.
That's awesome.
It was fun. And that is one thing I would share with all of you. We should be doing these contests on a regular basis. And it doesn't matter who you're talking to. I'm in the middle of a contest and I had to come up with 5 people. Would you help? Do you know what people would do? It was the whole, they spent the first half of Sunday morning just talking. I'm saying Sunday, I meant Saturday. So it was Friday to Saturday. Saturday morning, they spoke most of the morning about how did you do? What did you do? Who did you meet? And the interesting thing is, and that happened to several of us, where you're talking to one person and they're saying, you need 5? Here, come over here. And they bring other people to you and get your picture taken and you get your number and you get their number and you're telling them about the regeneration and they're like, I'm going to be in touch. People were Saturday connecting with the people and closing them. You know what I mean? By just doing that contest. So it was a lot of fun. That was
That's
fun.
awesome. That's awesome. So I had interrupted you before when you were going through the acronyms for the leadership.
You were?
Yeah, well, I interrupted you, so you didn't get through all of them, I don't think.
I don't know. I thought I did because
well, I made you go back to the going through when they said to go through your phone and text the people. And I asked you a question about that, and you were talking about the LifeWave prospect, the LP. And so we didn't get beyond that.
Well, I thought that because I know David helped me with that one which was established consistent income producing activities. That was E. R was retention, keeping your team engaged.
Did they give some suggestions on that retention and keeping your team engaged?
Let me see. I would have to find it in my notes because that was all weekend. That was each segment was on that.
Okay. So they pulled out specific segments and just talked about each one of those letters.
Right. Setting and achieving goals. That was probably our why. You know what I mean? Honoring your team's success. I really would like to talk about that a little bit. And inspiring your leadership in your team. And the P was produce massive action. That was Peter. He did that at the end. That was amazing. I recorded the whole thing. So I could send that to Pastor Ed if he wants to do something with it, because he told his whole story. And that was pretty powerful, about how he got started and how he met everybody. And then he met Marcy, and then Marcy recruited him for this. He recruited her for something else. So they've been in several network marketing companies. So, and he explained his whole story, which again, the key to this business is your heart, you figuring out why you're doing this business. It's got to be a heartfelt story that people believe, because they're buying you. If anything, they're really just buying you. So they talked about that. And a couple key things. This is what we already started saying. Debbie and I met somebody at the hotel, and they were brand new. They don't even know. Their sponsor already left the picture. And these two met each other and came and thought, maybe if we go, we'll meet somebody that will help us, because they have no idea what they're doing. And they don't have anybody to talk to. So we drove them back and forth from the hotel over. Instead of doing an Uber, we drove them, because Elsie gave us her car. So we were staying at two different hotels. That's a long story. But anyway, we were at two different hotels. And so this couple, I mean, they're not a couple. They were a man and a woman, but they weren't together. They were just doing the business together. Well, we decided, all of us, the Vicky, and this guy's name was Vicky and Chuck, and Debbie, Myrna, Elsie, and Debbie and I, we decided we're going to build a travel tribe. Maria knows what we're talking about there, where when I met people in Market America, and like when I met Maria, we always traveled. I mean, Maria and I traveled for 7 years together. We weren't on the same team, but we traveled, and the memories we have and how we built the business, that's how I'm in her business now, because we used to travel. So they said, build a travel tribe, and make it real, like meets people and say, we're going to do this. And now Elsie's making sure she's getting her ticket to convention, and I know that Debbie and myself and Myrna all had our tickets. And then Neff said he's getting his ticket. So it was all that, and that Vicky, I'm saying a couple, they weren't a couple. It was Vicky and Chuck, they're getting their tickets. And they said if another leadership comes, they're going to it. And you don't want to go alone. You definitely don't want to go alone. You want to have your team there. Let's see if I can find some other things.
Did they train on the 333?
Actually they didn't, but they said something else that I highlighted that I'll bring up to you. The one part where I really didn't go over it. It's things we've all done: productive activities, establishing consistent income activities. A lot of this stuff we do now. You know what I mean? They did a thing on follow-up. They did enrolling, and helping a new person get started. But let me go into some of the really neat stuff. I highlighted it that I wanted to share with you. Let's see. What did they? The one lady said this. She always tells people, when you get them started, she says, write down 10 people you want to help in the business. Now get me 4 right now, 4 of them, and in the next 24 hours, and call a new. She said, besides doing that, she said that's what she does with a new person. She tells them to make a list of 10 but give me the 4 top people that you want to talk to that you can put me on the phone with in the next 24 hours. Make it that urgency. I need 4 of your 10 that you need to get in touch with me within the next 24 hours. Then this was a really key important note that she shared. Call a recent customers who has a really good testimonial and give them a gift. And she said you could give them 5 patches, 3 patches, whatever you feel comfortable with. But it's pretty much what we do right now, where we ask people, we'll gift you 3 patches. I think that's what she was going with. But the key was, she said, don't forget to ask your customers for referrals. She said everybody forgets to ask for referral. And she gives them money. She literally gives them money for the referrals. And that's to show them that they can make money to get them from a customer into a brand partner. And they were sharing that under leverage. They were talking about leverage, setting and achieving goals. We went through that. They also talked about the SMART rules, and where you specifically measure and track the power, and achievable is the A, and the R was I must have missed the R. I only have T for time. But anyway, they went through that. But the one I wanted to share with you that stuck with a lot of us is find a manager a week. What they're saying, a lot of us, once we get in this business and we've been in a while, we find our 4 people and become a manager, and then we forget. We're asking them to go become managers, and for our newest people to find their 4 people. And they said the problem is, once we've been in the business a while, we forget to find a manager ourselves, make ourselves a manager. And they said we should be making ourselves a manager every week or every 2 weeks, no later than a month. So to keep our business going, we should create ourselves as a manager. That to me was one of the most powerful things I learned, is because you get into that mode where you become micromanaging instead of building. And then they were explaining how the 20 by 20, by finding, because the whole key is you're trying to find 3 people on your right and 3 people on your left that do what you do as becoming an SPD. And so that's what we're looking for. And not everybody's willing to do that. And so you should be constantly looking to make yourself a manager again. Is that powerful, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Make yourself a manager again and again and again. So let's go out there and make ourselves managers. That was what I left with. The biggest, thing from the weekend was get back into making yourself another manager personally. And they said you'll watch your business grow tremendously if you keep, because your team's going to duplicate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
They talked about being a servant leader. I mean, that was like a really big part of it. And then interesting, I found out that most leaders are readers. Some of the SPDs were up there saying that they've been in the business, already made SPD, and they never read. But now they're reading, and their business has doubled since they started reading. So they gave us a list of all the books that we should be reading, and recommended that we give a book to our new people, a book that you like, and ask them to read it. That's key. And leaders lead by example. I mean, we all know that. Leaders stay connected. And then they said, identify 3 people who want to lead by example on each side. I shared that. But here's something that someone shared that stuck to me. Remember, I'm sharing with you what stuck to me. The 3 things to teach your babies, your brand new partners. She called them her babies. And she said to share with them, you first got to learn how to crawl. That's your manager. Once they start to walk, that's your director. Once they start to run, that's your senior director. And I wrote this one down, and you guys will relate to this one because of my story with Lorenzo. And when your new partner flies, they're going to be an SPD. So I thought that her simple explanation was so powerful for us to remember that our new people, they need to crawl. So we need to help them become a manager. And then to teach them how to walk, you teach them how to become a director or help them guide them to become a director. And the run is a senior director. And then they basically said from there, once they become a senior director, they're taking their new people and they're teaching them how to crawl, walk, and run. But I thought I'd throw in fly as an SPD. Says expect rapid change, in this business coming up with everything that's coming out. So be calm and cool and learn to adapt and teach them to do the same. Change the ups and the downs. You're going to have up and downs in this business. Learn to retain and adapt. And then the ending was Peter that talked about massive actions and change yourself, work on yourself. But one of the things I wanted to share with you back in the middle was they were sharing with us that we need to get back into personally recognizing our new people as they become a manager, like sending them a card and telling them how proud you are of them. I'm sorry, and their accomplishments. And they said that means so much to people. And the one stood up and said, I really like this. She said, I pay attention to my brand partners on what they like, what's their favorite restaurant, where they get their coffee from, where some of their lunch areas, but you find out something about them personally. And then when they achieve something, you give them that gift, give them a gift card to their favorite coffee shop or something. But they said for each position, your managers and your directors, that we should be recognizing them with a gift to thank them. So it was stuff like that, more of the personal. They had of course they did it twice. Excuse me, where they had leaders on the stage and they shared their stories and they asked them questions. So but the relationship part was so cool. And I have to share this with you. I'll share first this one. So at the very end, they asked us to wear this piece of paper on our back. So we worked 2 by 2 and we taped this paper on your back. And and then you had to write something, a word about that person by meeting them for the first time. And then what happened is then they let us go through the whole room. And you were walking up to anyone and everyone. And they were writing on your back something about you. And so when I got in the plane, I could sit there and read all the beautiful words that people said to me. Stuff like, I believe in you. You're brave and compassionate. You're genuine. It was just humble, blessed, dedicated, friendly, inspiring, very nice. I mean, it was just so neat. And you'd get to meet people you were sitting around the whole time, but didn't really get to talk to. So, and then I'll just end with this, at 4 o'clock on, Saturday, I got an email. The email came in around 2 o'clock, but they told us around 5. I didn't check my phone, but I got an email. Anybody senior director and above, they had a special dinner for. So I got to go to dinner with SPDs, and it was about 100, like I said, it was about probably like 120 to 140 of us in that room. And that dinner was even really, really nice compared to the lunch. It was just so well done, the whole event. And but I have to share this with you because I know we're coming to an end. That and if you guys have any questions, is that they taught we had, this wasn't planned. Like, they gave me a number. They said your number, I think it was I was team 2. So they said, go meet over there on this one side for team 2. So they had 1, 2, 3, 4 teams, and they mixed us up with senior directors and SPDs all mixed together. So like I said, I was in a group of 35 to 40 people. And right then and there, they said, right when we all got together, we had no idea what we were doing in this group. And they said, come up with a song. You have to lip sync it, and you have to act it out. And you all have to work together, all 40 of you, and produce. And then they're going to pick the winner. Oh my gosh, guys, that was so much fun. I mean, SPD's going around and everybody, and they're all looking, and we're like, we got to pick up a song. And one lady said, the easiest song for us to do is YMCA. So we took YMCA, and it was how we had to coordinate from beginning to end. Who was going to, it had to be 3 lip syncer, and then there had to be 1 leader, and then the rest had to act. And you had to make sure. So I didn't get the videotape mine, so I've got to get it from Geraldo, but I videotaped the rest. I'm going to share it with you guys because it was so funny. So much fun working with everybody. And the team that won did wait a minute. Sunshine. My girl.
Walking on sunshine.
No, my girl.
Oh, my girl. Okay.
And at the end, he said, Life Wave. Life Wave. That's my girl. Life Wave. And that's why they won, because they put we didn't change our wording.
Right.
In our group, somebody decided, the SPD decided, we're going to do the Trump dance. So we were doing the Trump dance in the in the middle of our YMCA. But the one team was so bad, they were not coordinated. And it was just fun. All of us, anyway. And then they said there's a prize for the winning team. And then after we did it at the very end, they said, you guys were all so good that we're all going to be winners. So we're all getting the whole
Cellargize. Yeah.
They're giving us the Cellargize. So one thing after another, it was just, the other thing is, and I've shared it and I'll share more with you. They had this machine there where you could get your picture taken, and you could wear, hold stuff. So we got up there as a team and did it. It was just so much fun. Just everything we did. When you left there, you knew you were a leader, and you knew that you're going to go back and you're definitely going to make a change. Like I said, from the beginning to the end, it was the most amazing weekend. It's been one of the best trainings I've been to.
That's
It was
awesome.
really, I'm going to make all of you go. We all have to go, and we have to get our team there, because it's definitely a different than convention. Convention's a whole nother thing than this. And we
Yeah.
basically learned from Marcy and Peter and Dr. Stacy and their teams how they built their business and how close they are. And they said so many of them are sidelines, like you and I, Nikki, are sidelines,
Mhm.
you know, and that's how they all came together, and why they're going around teaching people how to do this, because they've been so successful. And you
Yeah,
can see
that's
why.
awesome.
It was
Yeah.
amazing. And if anybody has questions, I'm sorry, I just was highlighting what was standing out for me.
Yeah. Anybody have a question for Mary? Maria, yes, ma'am.
It sounds unbelievable, really, Mary. I know you're coming with a lot of nuggets, and we should, all of us, to prepare for Dallas. Because I know somebody told me, a Spanish lady in one of the Spanish Zoom, he said, this is the best
Yes.
training to go to yeah, I understand how you're feeling, because that lady was unbelievable. And it's Mariana. Mariana is a kind of person. She talking, she acting, she do. Oh my God. And she was so excited when
Yeah.
she went to one of those. She said, you have to go, everybody, all the thing in Mexico things she was tell about. So we have to encourage ourselves and our team to do the same. And it's going to be in Dallas. So we know a little bit about Dallas. And let's go see what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's definitely
Thank you,
worth it.
Mary. I'm very proud of you, by the way.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Of course, I forgot they also did a lot about the vision board. All of them have vision boards. And the one thing that I wanted to talk to, the leaders, which is why I didn't talk a lot about it on here, but we really need to have an accountability group. We need to create, and you can't, we have to break it down into the leaders having an accountability group. But they do that weekly, every Monday, and they talk about their ranks. They talk about their points, and they're talking about their points like when they're trying to go for a contest or whatever they're doing. And then they that's what they do every Monday. Everybody gets on. It's an accountability to get you ready for the week. What are you doing for that week? But all of us should have accountability groups, which I agree. We should definitely have. There was a lot of comments that they made of things that we still need to add to ours. Our group is considered, the best on what we do for everybody, but we just need to do a little bit more into leadership, is what I picked up from that. And I think you'll hear that from like Debbie and Myrna. Myrna already at 12 o'clock today had a team meeting with her team.
That's
So
awesome.
the list of the books, Ed, I think I took a picture of it, so I can get that for you. What they recommended. There was a lot of pictures so I didn't write it. So that's why, as I was explaining this to you, I'm only going off of my notes and not what I took as pictures. So I'm sorry. I don't know if that was what
No,
I
you were
shared
great.
was
Yeah, that was so great. Yes.
but
Really
I'm
great job.
more than anything was excitement. You know what I mean? It was
Mhm.
just so amazing. So amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
And
post your pictures on the WhatsApp group for the
yeah, I'll
for like the
post
books and stuff.
I will. I'll post some of them up on WhatsApp group. I was only posting a couple pictures here and there, of us, because I didn't want to overwhelm the WhatsApp, but I can post some
Well,
things
and you
up
could
there.
put them on, you could put them on our, well, the group one that we have, and then Pastor Ed can decide which ones to
The
put.
PTW.
Yeah. Yeah. Pastor Ed can decide then which ones to to share, or if he wants to do something different with them or whatever. So
Yeah, because he might be able to put it as instead of me posting here and there, stopping,
yeah,
posting
yeah,
more. Put
right.
it one place and then somebody could put something together.
Yeah.
To
Mhm.
and maybe Ed, get some feedback from Myrna, Debbie, and Elsie, and your guy. I want to call him
Yeah,
Rep.
Neff.
What
Yeah,
is it?
Neff.
Neff.
Yeah. I've already talked to Neff. He's excited. So that's awesome.
And he and one other thing, we wore the wave shirt. We wore the wave shirt on Friday. And I had women coming up to me asking to join the group. They were giving me their
Awesome.
cards and asking me they want to be part of it. So I've got to figure out a way I can get. I'm not going to put them in our WhatsApp group because it's only us. And I told them that, but I told them I could invite them as a guest. So a lot of women wanted to know where to get the wave shirt and how to join. And then when we wore our pink shirt, the 20th year, all of us had one on. Neff was, where do I get one? And then, oh my gosh, people came from everywhere asking them. That was the best looking shirt they've ever seen. So
Yeah, it was a good shirt. Pastor Ed did good. Pastor
you
Ed
did
and
a great
Vicky.
job, Pastor Ed. Everybody
Yes.
wanted that t-shirt.
Yeah.
But no other groups did that. Like it was only us 5 that had the same t-shirts on,
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, it was just an amazing. I would recommend that you've got to go with your teams,
Oh. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us today. We really appreciate it. We're so thankful LifeWave's putting these on for us now. So I think it's going to help all of us. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Definitely. Thank you.
So everybody, hopefully you have time to take time to get to busy on your list and start making those calls and texts and having your 3 that you'll contact today and just moving throughout the week through that list. So thank you again so much. Thanks, Mary, for all of your time and sharing with us. And hopefully we will see, or I don't know how the call will work tonight with the social media, but hopefully we will see you all on that call. And we'll all be chatting about that, I'm sure, in the coming weeks. So
Yes.
be blessed, everyone, and thank you for joining us. And looking forward to learning more tonight with the social media call from LifeWave. So good day, everybody.
Good day.
Thank you.
Day.
Thanks.